Mountier. Merlot. Paul Merlot charging the line. One tackle to go. Looking for Goodwin. And a good rake by Pat English. Gary Hughes. Caught by Jennings. Brentnell. To Mark Hughes, Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes, Graham Hughes. Bullocking run. Getting it to Peter Mortimer. Out to the second row, Folkes. Folkes has got winger Want going with him. Now here's the pace of Steve Want. Watch him go from here. Getting a good bounce. Steve Want is able to score the first try of the match. That came from the kick earlier, but what remarkable lead-up work from Graham Hughes to lead to that first try. That bullocking run from deep in his own territory by Graham Hughes has led to a try by this man, Stephen Want.
This is the sort of play that they expect from Graham Hughes just prior to this lead-up, but the beautifully placed kick by Steve Folkes enables Steve's Want to get well and truly in front. He's onside, but waits for the bounce of the ball. Dan desperately trying to get hold of him, but wants in for the try.
And from head on, you'll see how Graham Hughes got that pass away, and then it went to Steve Folkes, and Folkes judging the situation well with that kick. Now watch Steve Want accelerate, but then he slows down. He waits for the good bounce to avoid knocking on and scores.
There's a great piece of centre play there between Fly and Marshall. Brilliant running.
Lou Platts. That's the sort of form that took him to England and France with the Australian World Cup side in 1975. Oh, a bruising hit by Graham Hughes on Fenton. Graham Hughes, another crashing tackle assisted by John Coveney. High kick by Brayman. Watch for Brentnell. Here he is. Went up a bit early. Here's Zavanovic, but the Penrith players were offside.
Leading 5 points to nil, and it's not a winning lead by any means. With time getting away in this first half, and Canterbury, it's been all Canterbury in possession. Penalties are interesting too, Gary, with a look at it.
Yes, Canterbury running right away with those at the moment, particularly in the scrums, cause difficulties. It's Canterbury 8-2 in the penalties and Penrith 4-2 in the scrums.
Winger Tony Armstrong is about 15 metres out from the goal line. Coveney. English. Robinson. Been some tremendous tackling. Tim Sheens went low with Zavanovic high. Chris Mortimer. Another nice tackle. Zavanovic. Steve Mortimer. Gary Hughes. Mark Hughes. Straight through the defence, picked up support. Pat English went himself. Play on. Brentnell is close, he's over. Greg Brentnell scoring. Too much power, too long a reach. And after the movement looked like breaking down close to the line. Fortunately for Canterbury, the ball had gone backwards, and when they retrieved it, they were able to force the scrum, or the try scored by Greg Brentnell. Hold him there. If you can't pass to advantage, don't. Platts. Jennings. Brayman. Good pass to Kevin Dan. Got the fullback to beat. Support outside. A terrible pass. Ken Wolfe gave it to Zavanovic. That should have been a try for Penrith. Simmons. Mark Hughes was awake up to Simmons' attempt to go from dummy half. Good work. This is a try coming up, racing for the line. Rod Wright's in to score. The try came from nowhere. It was a well-rehearsed move from Penrith. And isn't it good to see a move that is rehearsed so often at training come off in the game. It's slipping as he took the ball back from Darryl Broman. Platts, Fenton, now it's Dan up there. This is Eddie Flay about 6 metres from halfway. Dan, Broman and Jennings.
Penrith playing much better now. It's about the best football they've played in the game to date.
Tim Sheen's raiding down the blind side, gets a good pass away. Warren Fenton, he's got support, pull back to beat, and it must be a penalty for obstruction. That couldn't have been guaranteed to have been a try, but my word, Penrith were unlucky that the player...
And I reckon Penrith feel they can win from here, and Canterbury are going to need to do something. There's no one at all lined out on that right-hand side in the Canterbury back line.
Gary Hughes. All the Canterbury players standing bunched behind the ruck. Seems to be very little organisation about their play at the moment. Steve Mortimer getting them moving with a good pass. It's Armstrong to Want. Getting it back to Peter Mortimer over halfway. Good break. Peter Mortimer out to Want. Want racing for the line and dragged down. But the pass had gone forward. Use some of the form we know they can.
Well, I think they have to, Alan, because they've been very disappointing in the second half. Admittedly, Penrith enjoyed the majority of penalties, and they had Canterbury under a lot of pressure. But I do think that the Canterbury, into that second half, they fell asleep. Their game went away. They had a 12-point lead. They still haven't scored a point in this half. And I do believe that Penrith's game did improve, and of course they scored that try, a good try by winger Wright. But if Canterbury can get in here now, if they can put extra points on the board, then I feel they'll wrap it up.
Steve Folkes. Steve Mortimer. Long firing pass out to his brother Chris and gave it back inside. Peter Mortimer's come up with it. Tackle count starts again. Steve Mortimer, Gary Hughes, Madsen. Still the ball goes through. Pat English, the hooker. 12 metres out, Craig Madsen, dummy half in number 23. Brentnall, try number 2. Greg Brentnall, the fullback, storming in on a Steve Mortimer pass on the blind side to score his second try of the match. 15 points to 5, the kick to come.
I don't think we need worry too much about who's going to be the
Here's a late chance for Penrith. Jennings has regained the ball, juggling it on fingertips. Dan.
Their coach Johnny Peer to be disappointed that when they go together and they look sharp, that there are times when there's one man out and nothing happens.
Simmons got it away, and here's a chance. The ball can't get away. Ken Wolfe, a long pass. That's been touched down out wide. A pass that looked a little bit doubtful too. Ken Wolfe has scored the try on the far side. And here it is.
Well, this is just the sort of thing that Penrith can do when they try, and a good run there by Simmons to keep it alive across the back line there. It's one winger to winger, right, passing to Wolfe, and Wolfe goes in to score.
And from head on, you'll see the quick work as the ball is cleared from the ruck. It's Simmons who ran it across field. And as he slipped the pass away there to Steve Martin, the quick unloading saw the ball go right out to Marshall. Marshall got it away to winger Wright, and it was that pass from Wright to Ken Wolfe that enabled the try to be scored out wide. Dan from a wide angle on the quarter line, places it nicely and gets 2 points. 15 to 10. And into the last 30 seconds of the game now, as the ball will be placed on halfway. We'll only just have time for the kick-off. Chris Mortimer turns his back on the ball and will now put it fairly deep into Penrith's territory. run up by Podgy almost to the quarter line. There's the full-time siren, with Canterbury running out winners, not quite as impressively as one might have thought. The final score, 15 points to 10. Canterbury scored 3 tries to 2. Greg Brentnell notched 2 of those for the Bulldogs. The other two, Steve Want, Tony Armstrong kicked 3 out of 4. For Penrith, wingers Wright and Wolfe were the try scorers, and Kevin Dan kicked 2 goals from 4 attempts. Penrith won the scrums by 8-7. They were also favoured in the penalty count by 13-12. Well, Canterbury were always going to win this game, but there was no turning point. One of the significant facts about the game, though, was the interference suffered by Penrith in the second half. We saw a good break made out wide by Tim Sheens, and he picked up the support of lock forward Warren Fenton inside. Now, Fenton took the ball well up towards the goal line, and with winger Ken Wolfe in support, Wolfe's jersey was grabbed by Chris Mortimer, and he wasn't unable to have a free run at the ball. Well, who knows, Penrith might well have scored then, and a converted try might have at least levelled the scores. Well, the 5 tries in the match, which was your best, Reg?
Alan, I thought the best try was scored by the Canterbury winger Steve Want. It was an outstanding effort, and Graham Hughes featured very prominently in it. He's really keeping the ball moving, and the Penrith defence trying desperately to get him down, but he manages to get hold of the ball, get rid of it to Peter Mortimer, onto Steve Folkes. Now watch Folkes, he's got Steve Want on the inside, but elects to kick rather than pass, and Want goes on after that ball, and some intelligent play here from the winger by waiting for the bounce and going over for an excellent try.
Well, that was a fine team try by Canterbury. Undoubtedly, man of the match was Canterbury fullback Greg Brentnell. He was safe as a bank under pressure, fielding the high bombs, and he's chimed in at appropriate times to score 2 great tries, proving very difficult to stop near the line. It was a timely performance with the representative selections just around the corner.
So there it is, a game far different in quality from last week. Canterbury led by 10 points to 0 at half-time. They had 2 tries to 1 scored against them in the second half, but they ran out winners by 15 points to 10.